Welcome everyone to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins, unbelievable numismatic mysteries, and shocking values that turn ordinary pocket change into legends of fortune. And today's story begins with an electrifying hook that grabs your curiosity from the very first second as we journey into the unbelievable tale of the 1967 USA 1-cent coin rumored to carry a staggering face value of $241 million and the equally astonishing and historically mesmerizing 1971 quarter dollar coin that has gained fame for being associated with an unbelievable $34 million valuation because of its rare errors, unimaginable minting anomalies, and hidden mysteries that have fascinated collectors for decades. So welcome to the channel where we explore the kind of stories that keep treasure hunters awake at night and make ordinary people wonder whether the change in their drawer or the penny stuck at the bottom of an old jar could be secretly worth a fortune. And as we unfold this massive story, we begin with the 1967 1-cent coin, a coin from an era where the United States Mint was undergoing complicated transitions, technological improvements, strategy reshuffles, and experimental phases in its production lines, resulting in many unexpected varieties, double strikes, misaligned dies, planchet irregularities, overstamps, vanished mint marks, die cracks, lamination errors, broad strikes, off-center strikes, and ghostly impressions that sometimes appeared unintentionally during high-speed mass production. And in that year, collectors discovered strange 1-cent coins with unusual textures, strange surfaces, and faint patterns beneath the main design, suggesting leftover impressions of earlier minting stages. And among these anomalies, rumors began circling of a particular 1-cent coin that had mistakenly been struck on a leftover or experimental planchet, possibly a transitional metal blank or an unused composition test piece that had slipped into the wrong production line, giving birth to a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so unusual that theories began spreading about how its unique combination of errors could make it astronomically valuable. And experts over time speculated that if the coin showed indicators of double planchet impressions, pre-strike test lines, micro cracks at the rim, ghost images of previous die states, or faint underdesigns accidentally preserved during a high-pressure strike, its rarity could be unlike anything seen in modern coin production. And this gave rise to sensational claims that such a coin, if authenticated and preserved, could reach a mythical value of hundreds of millions of dollars, including the widely circulated myth of the $241 million valuation. And though this number is obviously more of a legend than a realistic auction estimate, the story around this mythical coin grew into a powerful narrative that turned it into a modern treasure myth shared by collectors worldwide, making it one of the most talked about what-if rarities in numismatic folklore. And as the story of the 1967 cent unfolds like a mysterious puzzle, we shift our focus toward the 1971 quarter-dollar coin, another coin that has gained massive attention for being linked to a dramatic value claim of $34 million due to its unusual and rumored minting errors. And while such a value is part of viral coin lore rather than an actual recorded sale, the excitement behind it comes from the rare types of mistakes the 1971 quarter could theoretically contain, because that year was notorious for die deterioration, misaligned die settings, metal inconsistencies, and production irregularities that occurred as the mint was transitioning through updated technological processes and experimenting with ways to increase coin output while managing rising demand. And when speed increases and machinery shifts occur in a minting facility, the likelihood of rare and unexpected errors also increases dramatically, which is why many error specialists believe that 1971 may have produced some extremely rare unnoticed mistakes, including double die obverse varieties where Washington's profile appears slightly doubled, particularly around the nose and chin, as well as reverse doubling around the lettering or eagle's wings. While other possibilities include off-center impressions where the design is struck far from the center of the coin, broad strikes that expand the coin's diameter, partial collar strikes that blur the rim edges, struck through errors where debris or cloth accidentally leaves an imprint, clipped planchets where the coin's metal blank is missing a curved portion, and even transitional metal planchet rumors suggesting that a wrong metal blank could have slipped into the presses, producing a coin unlike any other of its time. And these rare combinations of errors create the kind of legendary stories collectors adore, because a coin with multiple stacking errors is like a once-in-a-generation miracle, especially when its production year had known mechanical stress factors. And this is why the story of a 1971 quarter supposedly valued at $34 million continues to fascinate the public, as the idea of a small, simple coin hiding unimaginable worth resonates with every person who has ever glanced at their loose change and secretly wondered whether they might be holding something incredibly valuable without even realizing it. And so, as we weave together the tales of these two extraordinary coins, the 1967 1 cent with its mythical $241 million fascination and the 1971 $2 rumored to carry a $34 million valuation, we realize that what makes these stories unforgettable is the blend of historical minting conditions, widespread urban legends, passionate collector theories, misstruck mysteries, and the timeless human desire to find treasure where no one expects it. And the beauty of coin collecting lies in the fact that while not every coin achieves legendary status, every coin carries a journey of production, history, errors, mysteries, and possibilities that ignite the imagination, reminding us that even the smallest piece of metal can have a story large enough to captivate an entire world. So if you love these deep dives into rare coins, viral numismatic mysteries, and stories about unbelievable values that capture global attention, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another extraordinary journey into the world of hidden treasure and unimaginable worth. Next. Today we are diving into one of the most shocking, most unbelievable, and most talked about stories ever to grip collectors, treasure hunters, and curious viewers around the world, the story of the 1970 $2 coin that has stunned experts, left historians questioning possibilities, and sparked viral debates everywhere because of its rumored value reaching nearly $22 million, a number so massive that people can't help but wonder how a small piece of metal minted for everyday transactions could suddenly be worth more than luxury homes, expensive supercars, and even some historical artifacts. And as we unravel this mystery together, you'll see why this coin, this simple 25-cent piece struck in Denver in 1970, has become a legend, gaining attention due to bizarre minting anomalies, hidden errors, and mysteries surrounding its production, and why collectors think it might be one of the rarest, most valuable coins ever to circulate. And right now, as you settle and get ready to explore every twist and turn, because this is not just a story about money, this is a story about history, chance, human error, strange possibilities, hidden secrets within the U.S. Mint, and the thrilling chase for a coin that could turn anyone into an overnight millionaire, a coin that might be sitting quietly in someone's coin jar, forgotten in a drawer, or tucked inside an old family album without anyone realizing its incredible worth. Because when it comes to the 1970 $2 coin, the things that make it special are not immediately visible. They are subtle, unusual, and unique enough that only the sharpest eyes can catch them, which naturally leads to an even bigger question: what errors and mistakes could possibly make this quarter worth up to $22 million? How could something so ordinary hide such extraordinary value? And what truly happened inside the mint in 1970 that sparked decades of speculation and mystery? And as we move deeper into this story, we begin by looking at the time period itself, a moment in American history where the country was going through huge cultural changes, economic shifts, the Vietnam War, political tension, and a minting system that was modernizing rapidly, leading to increased output but also increased chances for mistakes, especially in the Denver Mint, which was known for extremely high production numbers and high-speed machinery that sometimes resulted in errors slipping past inspection. And among these millions of coins minted every year were the few that stood out, not because they were designed to be special, but because something unexpected occurred during the production process, something unscripted, something unplanned. And this is where the story of the 1970 D-Quarter's legendary errors begins, because collectors have identified possibilities ranging from double dies to off-center strikes, planchet anomalies, metal composition irregularities, striking pressure inconsistencies, misaligned dies, and even the possibility of the coin being struck on the wrong planchet entirely, a mistake so rare and so spectacular that if verified it could instantly catapult the coin into astronomical value territory, and one of the most discussed possibilities surrounding the 1970 D-Quarter is the rumor that a handful of these pieces might have been struck on leftover silver planchets from the 1960s, a mistake that could theoretically occur if old planchets remained in the system during the transition from silver to clad coinage. And although the U.S. Mint officially states such leftover planchets should have been purged, numismatic experts believe that given the chaotic environment of the mint during certain years it is not impossible, and if a 1970 D-Quarter was struck on a 40% silver planchet, or even earlier 90% silver stock, the rarity would be beyond extraordinary because such a coin would be unique, possibly one of a kind, and collectors around the world would be willing to pay millions for it. But that is only the beginning of the mystery, because this coin is also associated with another bizarre and particularly dramatic theory, the possibility of overstrikes involving older world coins, something unbelievably uncommon and almost unheard of in modern minting history but not entirely impossible. And if even a single 1970 D-Quarter was mistakenly overstruck on a foreign coin or on a misprocessed metallic blank originally meant for another country, this would also boost its rarity and value to levels beyond anything in standard circulation. And then we have the more conventional but still incredibly valuable errors such as deep double die obverse errors where the date, mint mark, or lettering appears doubled, sometimes dramatically enough to be seen with the naked eye. And collectors know very well that dramatic double dies have created million-dollar coins before, such as the 1955 Lincoln cent and the 1972 cent, so if a strong double die exists on a 1970 D-Quarter it would instantly ignite a bidding war among top collectors. But aside from these larger errors we must also consider smaller yet rare mistakes like curved clips, where part of the coin's edge is missing from the initial blank punching phase, and broad strikes where the collar fails to contain the expanding metal, causing the coin to stretch wider than usual, and die breaks or die cracks which leave raised lines across the coin's surface, forming unique patterns that collectors love, especially when the break creates shapes such as cuds, raised blobs of metal that fill in parts of the design. And while these errors might not be worth millions on their own, a combination of multiple severe errors on a single 1970 D-Quarter could make it historically significant, placing it in the category of ultra-rare minting anomalies. And this brings us to one of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting, provenance, the story behind the coin, because coins with mysterious origins, undocumented minting histories, or unusual discovery stories often attract huge premiums since collectors value not only the physical object but the narrative surrounding it, and in the case of the 1970 D-Quarter the narrative possibilities are endless, ranging from quiet mint mistakes to wild historical theories that suggest unusual production circumstances. And as the legend spread, coin hunters began searching their pocket change, scouring estate sales, checking old jars, old wallets, and even inheriting collections with hopes of finding one of these mythical coins. And while the U.S. Mint does not officially confirm such an error exists, collectors and auction houses have occasionally seen experimental pieces or unusual quarters from the early 1970s that defy explanation, adding more fuel to the belief that a truly unique 1970 D-Quarter could be hidden somewhere. And because rarity combined with mystery always drives value through the roof, the estimated price for such a coin has reached viral heights, with some collectors speculating it could sell for as much as $22 million if verified and placed in the right auction setting, especially if two or more wealthy collectors or institutions decide to compete for ownership. And when you think about it, this is not impossible at all, given that coins like the 1933 Double Eagle have sold for nearly $20 million and others continue climbing in value year after year, proving that when something is rare enough, strange enough, and historically compelling enough, collectors will pay unimaginable amounts to secure it, and this potential value has turned the 1970 D quarter into a cultural phenomenon, inspiring countless online searches, viral videos, and discussions in the collecting community, making people more curious than ever about the hidden world of mint errors, secret rarities, and the possibility that wealth beyond imagination could be hiding in plain sight. And as we continue exploring the possibilities behind this coin's rumored value, we also consider the simple truth that the Denver Mint in 1970 was processing massive quantities of blanks at high speed, increasing the possibility of metal mixture errors where planchets of different compositions get mixed accidentally, creating coins with unusual weights, strange tones, or unexpected core materials. And such errors can survive quality checks, especially in years of high production. And experts know that weight irregularities and composition anomalies are among the most financially rewarding types of mint errors because their rarity is mathematically tiny, and if one of these irregularities occurred on a 1970 D quarter, the value could soar instantly. And then there is the possibility of off-metal errors, meaning the coin could have been struck on a blank meant for a different denomination entirely, such as a dime planchet, which would make the quarter smaller, lighter, and visually strange, or even a foreign coin planchet, since the U.S. Mint produced foreign currency blanks for other nations during certain years. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable and fascinating coin stories ever told, a story that begins with an ordinary pocket change quarter from 1981 but transforms into a jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar mystery as we explore the incredible journey of the 1981 P quarter dollar coin that has been rumored to command an eye-popping value of $9 million due to its bizarre errors, curious mistakes, unexpected minting anomalies, and the countless possibilities that make collectors chase this coin as if it were a hidden treasure of modern American numismatics. And as we dive deeper into the world of minting mishaps, accidental variations, odd planchet events, mechanical slip-ups, and everything that could have gone wrong at the Philadelphia Mint during the early months of 1981, we uncover the reasons why such a seemingly ordinary coin could suddenly explode in value and become the subject of heated discussions among coin collectors, investors, historians, and enthusiasts around the globe who endlessly debate whether the combination of rare features and strange imperfections qualifies this coin for a mythical valuation, or if its staggering worth is tied to a single unique specimen with unparalleled oddities that set it apart from millions of regular 1981 P quarters. And as we move further into this cinematic journey of metallic mystery, we first need to understand that the early 1980s presented unique challenges for the United States Mint because production volumes were climbing rapidly, machinery was aging, new minting techniques were being tested, and transitional phases in equipment, quality control procedures, and worker training created an environment where unusual mint errors had more opportunities to occur, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, where the 1981 P quarter was struck in massive quantities, making it all the more astonishing that one coin, or possibly a small handful, could emerge with spectacular features so rare and unexpected that collectors would one day attach to it a valuation that surpassed luxury homes, exotic cars, and even some small businesses. And when we talk about the kinds of mint errors that could lift a coin to multi-million-dollar levels, we are not referring to minor scratches or small die cracks, but rather dramatic deviations from normal minting standards, anomalies that change the identity of the coin so profoundly that experts stop in their tracks and ask how such an event could have even occurred within the strict procedural systems of the mint. And one such possibility with the 1981 P quarter involves the potential for a double strike or multi-strike, where the coin may have been struck once correctly and then again off-center or rotated, creating overlapping images of George Washington's profile on the obverse or duplications of letters, numbers, or design elements that appear ghost-like or shadowed, giving the coin a surreal appearance, and when a coin shows evidence of such dramatic double striking, especially when sharp, visible, and unmistakably clear, it instantly becomes an anomaly of extraordinary value because collectors love visual errors that tell a dramatic story of mechanical malfunction and unexpected survival, since most of these flawed coins were supposed to be caught and destroyed before ever making it out of the mint. And another powerful factor that could catapult the 1981 P quarter to astronomical value is if it was struck on the wrong planchet. Meaning instead of being minted on the standard copper-nickel-clad quarter blank, it ended up on a planchet meant for a nickel, a penny, a foreign coin, or even a transitional experimental metal blank, and because planchet mix-ups were more common in busy years with high minting pressure, collectors often investigate 1981 coins for such anomalies. And if such a coin not only survived but also remained in exceptional condition, its rarity would skyrocket and the value could truly reach millions. Because wrong planchet errors are among the most sensational and sought-after mistakes known in numismatics, and another potential source of value comes from dramatic off-center strikes where part of the design is completely missing and a large blank crescent of metal appears on the side, making the coin look like a factory mistake that should never have passed inspection. And even more incredible would be a dual error combining an off-center strike with a die cap error where the coin becomes stuck on the die and acts like a stamp, creating distorted and layered impressions that look more like abstract art than currency. And if a 1981 P quarter exists with such wild anomalies, it would be so rare and visually shocking that collectors would fight to obtain it in private auctions, potentially pushing its value into the multi-million-dollar range. And yet another category of mistake that could elevate the coin's worth involves die errors such as cuds, die breaks, or shattered dies, where the metal begins to fail and crack due to overuse or stress, causing raised blobs, missing design sections, or strange protrusions to appear on the coin, and when these imperfections cover significant portions of the coin or alter recognizable features such as Washington's profile, the eagle's wings, the letters of Liberty or United States of America, or the date itself, they create a peculiar rarity that highly advanced collectors admire. And if such a dramatic die break occurred on a single early-stage strike before the die completely failed and was replaced, the coin could be a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that drives collectors wild, forcing valuations to soar into extreme levels. And apart from mechanical or metallic errors, there are also intriguing theories among collectors about mint test strikes or pattern coins that were never meant for public release but accidentally escaped the mint. And if such a mysterious test strike were connected to a 1981 P quarter, perhaps designed in slightly different metal composition, die alignment, relief, or engraving detail, its rarity could exceed that of nearly any circulation coin of the modern era, and that alone could spark a speculative frenzy where wealthy collectors bid against each other in pursuit of the only known example, making million-dollar valuations not only plausible but inevitable. And the storyline becomes even more compelling when we consider the possibility that one single coin could contain a combination of multiple errors, such as being struck on a wrong planchet, receiving a double strike, having partial missing lettering due to grease-filled dies, or showing a rotated reverse where the back of the coin is misaligned with the front by 90 or 180 degrees, a combination error so unlikely that it may exist only once in history, making it priceless in the eyes of passionate collectors who view such coins as irreplaceable artifacts of minting history. And these combinations of rare mistakes are exactly what give the 1981 P quarter its mystique, because the rumors of its multi-million-dollar value often point to the existence of a single specimen exhibiting such extraordinary characteristics that traditional grading standards cannot fully define it. And when a coin defies both expectations and classification, its value becomes determined not by guidebooks but by the excitement, desire, and determination of collectors who recognize its uniqueness. And this is how values are pushed beyond anything one might expect from a modern coin, reaching $9 million and beyond because rarity, demand, and storytelling combined to create a market frenzy unlike anything seen before. And another element that boosts the coin's legendary status is its age, because although 1981 may not seem ancient, coins from that era have had enough time to circulate, get lost, be damaged, be melted, or disappear from the hobby entirely, meaning that if a rare era specimen survived in pristine condition, possibly graded at an extremely high level by a major grading service, collectors would place enormous emphasis on condition rarity combined with era rarity, creating the perfect storm for skyrocketing valuations. And because condition always matters in the world of coin collecting, even the most dramatic era becomes exponentially more valuable when the coin remains crisp, lustrous, and free of heavy wear, and when a coin holds both extraordinary rarity and near-perfect condition, the value leaps to levels considered impossible by everyday collectors, yet entirely justified by specialists who know just how hard it is to find such perfection in an era coin. And when we think about the kinds of collectors willing to spend millions, we are talking about elite investors.